The multiverse is a place where several different universes exist simultaneously and harmoniously. There are many powerful beings in the multiverse that threaten its delicate balance. While wars are waged among these universes and dimensions for various reasons, there are beings who exist completely beyond the multiverse. Today, we're going to learn all about one of these extra-dimensional entities who are simply known as the Beyonders. What is their story? How did they come into existence? We're ready to find out, but first, have you considered subscribing? Click that bell icon so that you never miss out on our marvelous videos. The Origins of the Beyonders. Created by Mark Gruenwald and Jerry Bingham, the Beyonders first made their appearance in May 1980 in the 63rd issue of Marvel 2-in-1. The story of the Beyonders begins with the Celestials, a group of powerful cosmic beings created by the first cosmos, or the first firmament, the physical embodiment of the first universe to ever exist. The Celestials then rebelled against their creator and led the destruction of the first cosmos. From the shattered fragments of the first cosmos, the first multiverse began, and with it, the second cosmos arose. The Celestials created Kal-Hora, a paragon of power, beauty, and order to serve them and maintain the balance of the multiverse. This was a huge task for a single being, no matter how powerful, so Kal-Hora used his essence and powers to create the Beyonders. The Celestials called them the Omegas, as they were the last in line of command, with the Alpha being the first firmament. They were in charge of looking after the multiverse cycle that began with the death of the second cosmos. A wise man once said that history repeats itself, and that's what happened with Kal-Hora and the Beyonders. Just like the Celestials had betrayed their creator years ago, the Beyonders deceived Kal-Hora and stole all of his powers. They banished him to a moon outside the multiverse, but the Beyonders are still weaker than the Celestials and have to follow their duty of maintaining the multiverse. A Herculean task. The Beyonders created devices known as Concordance Engines to help them make sure the multiverse was maintained. The Concordance Engines run on the Enigma Force, a cosmic being who is also known as the Light of Concordance. The Light of Concordance came into existence as the universal opposite of Null, the dark god of the symbiotes. The Celestials also assigned counterpart roles for cosmic beings to safeguard the multiverse. The Beyonders would be known as Kings in White or the Ivory Kings, and they would look after the multiverse, but from beyond it, while the Kings in Black were tasked with maintaining the multiverse from within by wielding the power of the living abyss, an eldritch substance which embodies anti-life. The Beyonders had to go through trial by fire, as their very first battle was against the reawakened first firmament who had attacked the seventh cosmos. To save the cosmos, the Omegas placed the Concordance Engines that warped reality on planet Earth to draw miracles. These miracles created the superheroes we know and love today. The engines have been on Earth at least since the time of Pangea, and each engine is protected by a guardian. These guardians are called Presters. The engines are neatly concealed and have the power to hide both from history and from the minds of those who seek to find them. There are two known engines on Earth today, one hidden deep below Wundagore Mountain, guarded by Prester Omega, and one at the North Pole. Studying the multiverse. Nobody in the multiverse knew about the Beyonders, not till millennia had passed anyways, and that's how the Beyonders wanted it to be as they worked behind the scenes. Not even the near-omniscient Watchers were aware of their existence. The first time earthly beings came into contact with the Beyonders was when they hired one of the oldest intelligent beings in existence, the Nuali, to create game preserves on Earth to study evolution. This game preserve was called the Savage Land and was housed in Antarctica. They created the Forteskians to colonize the game preserves they created throughout the universe. They also created the Library of Worlds to study the multiverse. Deadly experiment. The Beyonders, after looking after the multiverse till their 7th rendition, prophesied that Enigma, a dominion of Nathaniel Essex, would bring an end to the 7th cosmos. Curious to see what would happen if the entire multiverse were annihilated at once, and whether the 8th cosmos would stop the cycle of death and rebirth, the Beyonders decided to wreck it all. Their plan to do that was to create a singularity across all realities called the Molecule Man. When Molecule Man died, he would take the entire universe with him, and the Beyonders would be seated with popcorn to watch all the multiverses blow up together. Dr. Doom found out about this, and along with Owen Reese, the Molecule Man of Earth 616, set out to kill every Molecule Man before his natural death. Unfortunately, Doom and Molecule Man clearly had not thought this through, as their first victim's death caused an incursion, a cosmic event where two universes collide. But while Doom and the Molecule Man were playing checkers, the Beyonders were playing chess, because this is exactly as they wanted it to happen. Dr. Doom set up an all-female order called the Black Swans to help him save the multiverse. The Beyonders began to map all the worlds the Black Swans altered. Dr. Doom thought that by stopping their plan for simultaneous destruction, he had saved the multiverse, but the experiment for the Beyonders was still ongoing. They decided to prep the stage once before they restarted incursions and started murdering all the celestial beings. As the Celestials, Eternity, Lord Chaos, Infinity, In-Betweener, and the Living Tribunal were killed, they began the incursions again, and Hank Pym and the Avengers found out about it. Reality began to crumble, and a version of Loki used his magic to save himself and his fellow Asgardians by containing their essence and going outside reality. In the blank void beyond reality, he meets those who sit above in shadows. They claim to be the ones who created the Asgardians and asked Loki to give them the Asgardians' essence to feed on. Loki began debating them and started questioning their origins and existence. The silver-tongued trickster argued that all the gods, including the Asgardians, came from the stories that were told about them, and thus there was no proof as to whether those who sit above in shadows were the ones who created the Asgardians. His continuous and relentless questioning irritated those who sit above in shadows, who had no answers to give him, and fled. Loki later hypothesized that those who sit above in shadows might have been the Beyonders themselves. Though there has been no confirmation yet in the comic books, there is no evidence against this hypothesis either. Around the same time, the Beyonders inched closer to the explosive ending of their experiments with the help of the childlike Beyonder. However, Dr. Doom found out their one weakness. The Beyonders couldn't travel across time, and they were restricted and contained to their linear timeline. With the help of Molecule Man and Doctor Strange, Dr. Doom faced the Beyonders. This time, he had a secret weapon, which was a bomb made of Molecule Men from numerous universes. Doom killed most of the Beyonders and absorbed their powers to create Battleworld. The Beyonders who remained survived outside of the multiverse. Important creations! Every once in a while, the Beyonders send pockets of power into the multiverse and allow the sentient beings of the universes to use it to create cosmic cubes. Cosmic cubes give their users the power to bend reality as they please. Some important cosmic cubes were created by the Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM, the Red Skull, the alien species Skrulls, and even the Kree. What the sentient beings don't know is that the cosmic cubes are actually sentient embryonic forms of Beyonders. If they come into contact with enough sentient beings, they begin developing their own consciousness that's similar to the beings they were close to and evolve into a mature and sentient being. Though they're not actually considered Beyonders, they are effectively the babies of Beyonders. One of the very first cubes to grow into a Beyonder was the one created by AIM. The cube, after changing hands from AIM to MODOK to Set to Bernard Worrell, began getting affected by his aggression and hatred and nearly destroyed the world. But the Shaper of Worlds himself, having grown from being a cosmic cube created by the Skrulls, nurtured the cube till he grew to become Cubic. Cubic then went on to mentor the Beyonder. The Beyonder is probably the most infamous member of the race of Beyonders. Unlike other Beyonder babies who evolved from cosmic cubes, the Beyonder was created into a universe formed by the Beyonders. The only being in his universe, the Beyonder didn't know about anything else. Lab technician Owen Reese accidentally poked a hole in the womb universe and siphoned energy from it to become Molecule Man. The Beyonder watched and observed Earth from this hole and became fascinated with the lives of human beings. He was surprised to learn that they had a reality that was distant from their state of being, unlike himself, where he was all of reality. He saw that the incomplete humans tried to make themselves complete by working towards goals. This started to influence his own psyche, and he began to feel that he was not complete, and he started to have a desperate urge to grow and evolve. Intending to find out what desire truly meant, he began conducting reckless experiments that endangered the balance of the multiverse. Appearance of the Beyonders. Since they are non-corporeal energy beings, the Beyonders don't really have a physical body. We don't know their true forms, as our tiny human brains would explode trying to comprehend the immense force of their being. Even the High Evolutionary, who has evolved himself to near perfection, admitted that his mind broke when he saw the scope of their powers and realized that he was extremely insignificant and worthless in front of them. Talk about an existential crisis. Though the Beyonders can't be perceived by human beings, if they wish to be seen, they can wrap matter around themselves. In the comics, they appeared as human beings, long-haired gray aliens, bald humanoid angels, and mechanical robots. More often than not, they have Omega symbols on their body. The powers of the Beyonders. The Beyonders have great power that you and I can't even comprehend. With a tiny movement of their fingertips, they can build entire universes and generate life. Even when they take physical forms, they can easily outpower the gods earthly beings worship without breaking a sweat. They're nigh omnipotent and have killed some of their superiors, the Celestials. No energy or space can hold them back. They can take on any form they want to, organic or inorganic, and create items out of thin air. They can shoot beams of of energy that are strong enough to take down cosmic beings, and they have superhuman strength. It's hard to cause even the smallest of injuries to the Beyonders, as they can regenerate and heal themselves almost instantly. With their powers and nigh omnipotence, they can travel between realms, realities, and space-time rifts. Their weaknesses are very, very few. One, as we previously mentioned, is that they're restricted by linear time and can't time travel. If they're manifesting physically, antimatter is a strong weapon against their flesh suit. Though this won't permanently damage or wound them, it will give you a temporary reprieve. If you're hell-bent on taking down a Beyonder, then you need a bomb of massive and overwhelming force, so start collecting molecule men from across the multiverse. Unless you think you're smarter than Dr. Doom, that is. Marvelous verdict! In conclusion, the Beyonders were cosmic beings who were created to maintain order, but they eventually got bored with their jobs and decided to butcher everything they were meant to protect. We can't wait to see these beings who perceive mortals as mere toys in the MCU soon. I mean, if the comics are anything to go by, then they'll be popping up in Secret Wars. If you like this video, please leave us a thumbs up and we'll soon be back with more marvelous videos. Until then, stay cosmic, marvelous minions.